This is an action potential graph of a ventricular muscle showing phase 4, 0, 1, 2 and 3. Now what happens to sodium channels? In phase 4 they are in the closed state and they can be activated in response to a threshold stimulus. In phase 0 the channels becomes in the active state and cause rapid sodium influx. In phase 2 they becomes inactivated state in which they are refractory. In phase 3 of repolarization, they are in the transient phase from inactive state to closed state, and in phase 4 again they come in the closed state and are ready for next threshold stimulus. Calcium channels activated in the early phase 2 and closes in the late phase 2. In phase 4, inward activing potassium channels open, which maintains the RMP and does not lead to excessive hyperpolarization. Phase 0, all potassium channels are in closed state. Late phase 2 and phase 3, potassium channels open and cause rapid repolarization. Antiarrhythmic drugs part 2, and in this part we will discuss what are the various mechanisms of arrhythmia. Reason number 1, due to abnormal impulse formation in the form of early after depolarization, delayed after depolarization from an ectopic foci which releases its depolarization wave in the normal myocardium. The cause of arrhythmias may be due to disturbed impulse conduction, such as in the heart block in which there is increase in PR interval, or such as re-entry circuits as in the Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome. The next cause of arrhythmia may be due to increase in the sympathetic activity which increases the frequency of action potential, that is enhanced activation. And arrhythmia may be caused due to increased activity of pacemaker cells, that is a decrease in the end diastolic threshold of the pacemaker cells. Here is class 1 antiarrhythmic drugs in 1 minute. So these drugs are sodium channel blocking agents which blocks the sodium channels and cause a decrease in the conduction velocity in the heart, and a weaker strength of stimulus will not be able to elicit the threshold action potential in the normal cells. Class 1A includes procainamide, which blocks sodium channels and thereby decreasing the conduction velocity and a slow upstroke of phase 0. Its metabolite NAPA has class 3 antiarrhythmic activity by blocking potassium channels, thereby increasing the action potential duration. It has a short half-life of 3 to 4 hours and is excreted renally. Loading dose is up to 12 mg per kg given at a rate of 0.3 mg per kg per minute and a maintenance dose of 2 to 5 mg per minute. Torsades, arrhythmia, EAD, DAD, drug-induced lupus and arthralgia are its side effects. Second and third line drug in atrial and ventricular. I have heard that lignocaine is a local anesthetic used in anesthesia, but how it can prevent an arrhythmia? Can you explain this? Lignocaine is the least toxic and most effective antiarrhythmic drugs in the arrhythmia associated with acute myocardial infarction. It is given only by IV route and its mechanism of action is by blocking of the active and inactive state sodium channels with rapid kinetics. This drug has extensive first pass metabolism with a short half-life of 1 to 2 hours. It is excreted by hepatic metabolism. Its loading dose is 150 to 200 mg given over a duration of 15 minutes and a maintenance dose of 2 to 4 mg per minute. Neurological signs of paresthesia, lightheadedness, tremors or hearing disturbances. Most of the ventricular arrhythmias or arrhythmia associated with MI. Another drug of class 1B is mexiletine, which is an orally active congener of the lidocaine. Its half-life is 8 to 20 hours and it is given in the dose of 600 to 1200. Here is what you need to know about the class 1C antiarrhythmic drugs. They block the sodium channels as well as potassium channels, and interestingly they also block the ryanodine receptors, which decreases the calcium in the cytoplasm during diastole, which decreases the risk of DADs. Flecainide is the prototype of this class and it prolongs the action potential duration at fast heart rates, in contrast to quinidine, which prolongs action potential duration at slow heart rates. This has a half-life of 20 hours and is given in the dose of 100 to 200 mg per day. And it is indicated for supraventricular arrhythmias. So this is going to be the final video of antiarrhythmic drugs. Class 2 antiarrhythmic drugs include beta blockers such as propranolol, esmolol and sotalol. The class 3 antiarrhythmic drugs includes potassium channel blockers, which increases the effective refractory period by increasing the action potential. Class 3 drugs exhibits a phenomena called as reverse use dependent due to which they prolong the action potential duration at slower heart rate, that is in bradyarrhythmias, and further prolonging action potential duration during bradyarrhythmias may precipitate Torsades de Pointes. But there is exception of amiodarone, which is a class 3 antiarrhythmic drugs but does not exhibit this phenomena, and it slows the action potential duration at a large range of heart rate. Amiodarone is interesting. This is because it blocks potassium channels as well as inactivated sodium channels. It has a beta blocking and calcium channel blocking properties as well. Its bioavailability is around 30 to 70% and its effect remains up to 1 to 3 months after discontinuing the drug. The loading dose is around 10 grams and the maintenance dose is 200 to 400 milligram per day. It blocks the peripheral conversion of T4 into T3, thereby leading to hypothyroidism. It has iodine, so it may also lead to hyperthyroidism. It causes peripheral vasodilation, which may lead to hypotension. It also causes pulmonary fibrosis. It also causes photodermatitis and gray-blue syndrome, and it also has drug interaction with rifampin, cimetidine. Other drugs in class 3 are sotalol, which also has beta blocking ability. It is 100% bioavailable and is excreted by renal mechanism. The next class 3 drug is dofetilide and ibutilide. The dofetilide and ibutilide are used to convert acute atrial flutters into normal sinus rhythm.